One day my mom walked into my room in Hong Kong and then told me, son, do you want to go to the US? At that time, I thought she was asking me, do I want to go for vacation? Um, so naturally I say, sure. 2 weeks later, my visa was done. She had bought me a one-way plane ticket to California.
I studied English in Japan when I become middle school, but we only studied grammar and vocabulary, and we never got to practice, like do the conversation practice. So, and also we didn't do the listening practice as well. So I couldn't even understand what they're talking, what they talked to me. I just pretended that I was like, but I didn't understand it. But that was my decision to come to United States. I wanted to study English more and to speak fluently.
Yeah, the family pushed a lot. I trusted them at that point because I had no sense where I was going, what I wanted to be. So in that sense, like as in our culture, we respect elderly. My father came here a few times before, and I visited New York before once. So he really liked the American culture, how the people and like how safe it is. So he wanted his children to be safe and have the world-class education, because America had and still has the best education in the world.
I thought it's beneficial. It's benefit if I can speak English when I try to find a job, like do the job hunting, because people speaks English everywhere in this world. My dad, he agreed with me. He said, well, you're young, you should go. You should go to United States to expose your new culture. But my mom was she against me and said, no, you can't go there. Have you ever seen the TV show Cops? The Cops always they're showing the TV show is showing rape and gang, and stuff like that. And she thought that America is one of the dangerous place to stay.
It was a land of fun and a land of party and a land of chaos. That's how I see America. A lot of it, my vision, is from the vision of Hollywood movie. Because usually we see American Pies with huge parties, and we see Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible, that you blow up cars, you have gunfight on the street, anything like that. So that was my vision with America. Very abnormal and very odd in some sense to Asian culture, because we're more subtle and we're more, how do you say it, conservative.
Currently at UW Tacoma, there's 60 F1 international students. That includes undergraduate and graduate.
Well, Japanese are so quiet. Just sit, be quiet, and never respond. Even the teacher asks some question, but they're just not say anything. They don't say anything.
In Mongolia, we stick with the same class for 10 years. Since I was 6, I've seen same faces until I was 17 and I graduate. So that kind of bonds and relationship, that kind of gives the sense of community. And that was very different.
In Hong Kong, it's more about learning the stuff in textbook and preparing for you for the work field and having you memorize all the information as much as you can. And every time, in the end of the quarter, we'll have a final. The final will count as your overall grades. If you pass that final, it means you pass your class. If you fail that final, which just means you're going to fail the entire quarter.
International students pay the non-resident rate, so it's about 3 times as much as a domestic student pays. So tuition, if you're just 3/4 of full-time tuition, and they always have to be enrolled full-time, is about $28,000 a year, and they get no financial aid. There's a few very small merit-based scholarships that are available, but otherwise completely have to pay from their own resources.
And when I first got into high school, first 3 months was horrible. like during the class hours, I will be like getting the 4.0, and lunchtime comes and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just eat my sandwich in the corner by myself. And but my previous hobby helped me to get friends at that point. I rapped, I produced, and my host family put me in choir. I got into advanced choir. I don't know why, but I didn't know how to sing. There was a talent show. It was graded choir assignment. So I just went up and put my beat that I produced and rapped in Mongolian and Russian. And after that, everyone was like, "Oh my god! Oh, that was so dope, man! Oh, how come I didn't?" So, and girls are like, "Oh my god!"
Making friends in America was easy for me. As I say, I went to a Jewish high school. There was zero Asian population or any other cultures. So in that case, a lot of people, they came from the same background, so they don't have much chance to explore their culture life or to explore any other cultures just because they were fixed into that background. For me to go into that school, it was more like they were in a zoo. A student would literally come up to me and ask the weirdest question about my eyes or about my accent.
When we have a group discussion or something, well, the professor say, discuss with your neighbors, next person, and I turn right and try to ask some question that professor asked us to do, but the student who sit next to me went to the other place because she didn't want to talk to me because she thought I can't speak English. She didn't want to talk to me, so she left me, and I was very discouraged. But the person who left the side, she was nice, and she said, "Oh, you have a partner, you can join us." Luckily, so I joined it to other group, but some student treated me as an alien and treated me as, don't speak English, and it's very discouraged.
Unless people approached me, I wouldn't really approach because I was kind of scared of judgments, because I speak bad English, so what they're gonna think? Probably I'm gonna annoy them or something.
First 1 year when I moved to United States, I was very quiet. That's why I didn't have many friends. One day I realized that, maybe I should talk to them, just waiting for somebody ask me some question or, have to be very outgoing. That's the most important things to survive in this country.
Until I started, which was last October, we didn't have an international student office, so we didn't have any particular support for them. So there was someone to do their visa documents but that was about it. And then, the students petitioned, and then also, the enrollment services realized, okay, we need to have someone dedicated to help these students.
Every international student goes through this phase, homesickness, cultural shock. When you miss your home, when you're depressed, when you're just overwhelmed and you just want to cry or just go home. Either you go over it or you just keep on Facebooking and chatting. So for me, how I got over that was that I kept myself busy. I think that also made me lots of friends, and it helped me to get over the homesickness. And when I had more friends, that people who actually cared about me, it was more easier for me to go over that phase.
I don't have a time to, be negative. Have to be always think positively, and all the difficulties. The first time I become really down. Oh, I'm not capable of doing this. But on the other hand, why don't you ask some question to the professor to solve the problem, Have no time to be negative, just sit down at the table and do nothing, that is waste of my time. I have to just keep going and keep going. That's what international students have to do to survive in this, university. I want to graduate, I don't want to fail. So I do whatever I can do, just, keep going.